Let's see here. Let's see what the strings feel like. Let's catch the pickup. It's coming quicker than I thought. All right, let's see. What's up, folks? Good morning to you. Catch that last. Alright, got that. Let's see what else we can throw in there. Making a little grooves this morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Good morning, F-Base, I see you. Let's see here. I don't know if I like that. Let's find a different string. Y'all good this morning? How's everybody feeling? Not so much. Decided I'd jump on early while I'm building this track, let y'all in on some of this. Okay. Put up the register. Alright, I'm not really feeling that sound. Let's try it again. Let's try that one. Let's see if that feels a little better. Alright, see here. Still not feeling it. That's all right. Trial and error. Good morning to everybody jumping on. I see you. might even go with something completely different. Listen. Last note. It's crazy. Morning to you. Triangle. Walt, what's up, man? Good morning to everybody. Everybody, good morning to you. Let me know where you're watching from this morning. We're waiting on some more people to jump on. I want that last note to be, let's say A. No, G. Let's do G. All right, we'll go with that. Let's try some more stuff since we in a fun having mood. let's try some more stuff. All right. Let's see what we got. Since we're in the recording mode. Yeah, don't laugh at my organ. It is what it is. This is a quick track. I play bass. That's my excuse. Yep, all about trial and error. I don't like that sound. Let's try that one, guys. I keep wanting to play that F at the end instead of playing that ba-da-da-da. Missed the intro. Let's try it again. We can do it better. too much. Y'all good? I promise I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play in a minute. I got something in my head. Yeah, what does that say? 4-3-2. Yeah, something like that. 4-3-2. Yeah. So 6. So it's like 6. The last one is 6 to 5, back to 1. So it just repeat 4-3-2. Good. Y'all picking out the bass line. Getting ahead of me. That's cool though. Alright, I better stop. Somebody will get mad because I'm not playing, so let's let's see here. Add some bass to it. I done played around enough. I'll come back to that later. Alright, let's play some bass. 735, not too bad. So if you're looking at my bass, don't get confused. I'm tuned a half step down. You know my strings, I'm strung a little different for you guys that didn't remember. I am strung just a little different. So it's all good. So my E string is on the top, and I got a high C string on the bottom. So, yep. Let's see what we can do. I have not touched the bass to this at all, so whatever I play, that's what it is. All right, so let's go. That's missing the downbeat. Get a little more bass here. Never get too much bass. All right. All right, so let's start from the top. Here we go. Track for bass. Appreciate y'all, man. So let's see here. Add a track for bass. If y'all are jamming along, you got your bass out, waking the neighbors up. I'm in the key of F. In the key of F. The progression is 4-3-2 over and over again. And the last one is 6-5. And then start over. All right, so Rinses. Good morning, Jermaine. Good to see you again. What happened? You missed last week. No, I actually sent out a message. You have to check the messages on YouTube. I said I wasn't going live on last week. It was like super early in the morning. I was debating on whether I was going to go live or not. I have kids, and my son had testing, so I couldn't go live So yeah, that's pretty much that. So nothing serious happened, nothing bad or anything like that. I just, got some other responsibilities that I have to take care of from time to time. All right, and so let's jump right into this. Let me take the loop off. Try to get it. It'll help if I cut my volume up. Bring some of those highs down. Let's try it again. So I can't catch all of it. Alright, cool. Cool. All right, there's a comment there. You can get by with 362 or 2-1 flat 7. Yeah, you could get away with that, depending on where you put it. I like that, but I'm gonna do one without the feel in there. I'm gonna keep that bass line straight with no feel. Add another one, so let me duplicate that. Let me gain this up just a little bit more. Give me a little bit more meat in that groove. All right, so here we go. Seen another comment pop up there. Good morning, Andre. Bro, I hope that would be bass track for. I actually did. Oh, you talking about this track right here? Yeah. So I probably will. More than likely, I probably will upload this track. And I did another track recently, so be sure to go back to my channel and check out. I uploaded a track like a week or two ago, so be sure to check that out. It feels good too, by the way. But yeah, so let's try it again. I want to finish that line out, but I got to get in that groove. A little cleaner. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, I did something like that. Let me try it again. I had the flat 7 stuck in my mind because somebody just mentioned the flat 7, so I was playing around with it. Cool, I can do a better one. I don't know why I'm trying to perfect it. See what that felt like in the context. keep it for now and move on. Let's go. Get me another track. Y'all know I gotta groove and play some melodies to that. I just can't leave that. Just can't leave it open. All right. So let's see here. Good morning, Tiffany. Everybody else, I love your bass. What brand? This is a Warrior bass. This is a Warrior bass. All right. All right, now that I got the fishing out of the way, let's get back to it. Here we go. Let's cut my pickup notes off. Add those in there. Let's try it again. Like I want to. It's there, but I'm not hearing it. I'm gonna do another take just to hear the bass. That makes sense. Like the feel is there. I'm not being able to make out the notes clear. I think when I'm muted, it was almost a little too much. Now I can't tell what the notes are. Appreciate that, Floppy T. Let's see here. British Virgin Islands. Good morning to you, man. Zaloth. Thank you, sir. He said, you're only trying to perfect it because we as musicians are our biggest critics, but honestly, you're great at what you do. Man, thank you so much, John. Appreciate that. Tiffany says, this sounds like one of those contemporary gospel songs you can bump to, like Mary Mary, inspirational. Exactly. So yeah, I'm calling it something gospel heavy groove or something like that. It's definitely gospelish. So yeah, it got that Warren Campbell-ish type of vibe to it. I wasn't trying to do that. It's just that's what happened. So it is what it is. So let's try this bass line again. All right, let's try it again. Bass take number 3. We'll see how this goes. That last. I don't like that. Experiment with stuff too. When you're playing around, just experiment. You don't always have to go with the suggested note. Experiment, see what feels the best. So I didn't even think about ABC. It does kind of slightly got that thing. Appreciate that, man. Impulse Music, I appreciate that. So I want to do one more. I'm not mad at that take, but I want to try it again. If you're around when I'm doing sessions, my one more time is never one more time, just FYI. So when I say I'm gonna do this one more time, it's like 1,000 times. What's the SpongeBob thing? 2 hours later, it's like still I'm doing my one more time. Yeah, it's a lot of different people that you can name that got that kind of feel. So I'm just experimenting with some stuff. Right now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the ending. So. So let's try that again. Sorry about the faces. I hear stuff and my face goes with my ears. I'm playing a 5 in the keys. I'm not mad at that flat 7 over there. Instead of the 2, I'm playing a flat 7. I'm not mad at that. So let's try that. Alright, so it should have been 6, flat 7, 5. Alright, so let's try that again. That 2 could have worked, but what I'm playing in the keys, that 5 and that 2 is clashing. Alright, I'll get it. Cool. Let's see. See if I stuck that one. Yeah, that flat 7 feels a lot different. It gives that chord a little bit more attitude. So what I'm doing there is doing some substitution type stuff, because it would normally the bass line would be like going chromatic down to that 5 from the 6. Or you can go, you can do it that way, but I play. So it's a slightly different sound. So I'm playing, the melody note is that flat 7. So that is the flat 7. Alright, so you can get away with that. If you want to substitute, you can pull out a melody note instead of playing the bass note sometimes and get away with it, depending on the groove. Alright, so let's hear it all in context. Sweet, man. Good deal, Fly. Thank you for hanging out, man. All right, that's enough. So, man, how are y'all feeling this morning? Hopefully, everybody is well. I'm not gonna spend too much more time on. I do have some other things I have to get done today. But yeah, I was playing around with that track, and I thought that I'll bring you guys in. I know some of y'all are just not getting into this groove. I've been going at it for a second, so let me click the save button because I don't want to lose any of that. So I had a topic today. What was the name of my topic? Somebody remind me of the name. I think I remember what it was called. It's Are You Dedicated? That's it. So somebody said I like the breakdown. Appreciate that. I appreciate it. You're on the right track. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, are you dedicated? I'm with recent events that's going on. It definitely makes you think, makes you wonder about a lot of things that's happening right now. And it really brings up the term, the thought of dedication, the most recent. It's not the only thing because I know there are a lot of people who are losing loved ones during this time, but of course, the world is more so intrigued when a celebrity passes because we, for some reason, think that celebrities are invincible, and for whatever reason. None the least, man, as most of you guys know, with the recent passing of Chadwick Boseman, I've been doing a lot of, as I'm sure everybody has, you come to find out how great of individuals these people were after they die, unfortunately. Kind of like the same thing that happened with me concerning Kobe Bryant a few months ago. It's like I went on this whole binge of just watching a whole bunch of Kobe Bryant interviews and a whole bunch of videos, learning about this guy, learning that because I'm not a serious basketball fan. Don't shoot. But I went on a serious binge about learning about this guy's personality, his work ethic, all this type of stuff. So the same thing has kind of been happening as we've all been kind of recently hit with the news concerning Chadwick Boseman. And so I've been just looking at a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, wow, this guy was really, really dedicated. The fact that you go 4 years with a terminal illness and you still give it 100% of everything you had, so much so that most of the people around you had no idea what was going on. Now, I'm not sure about people in his inner circle, but from what we saw as the public and what many people saw who were even around him that had no idea that he was even battling, he was even sick. What does that say about his dedication and his work ethic to what he was trying to do, his purpose that he was trying to achieve, that you raised the bar? And the things that I've been noticing as I've been seeing some of these, as I've been on my binge and seeing some of the comments concerning Chadwick, was everybody's kind of saying the same thing. In almost every environment that he was in, he would cause people around him to raise the bar because he came with such a level of preparation, such a level of excellence that everyone around him was affected by that. And they had to raise their level of excellence as well. And I just got to thinking about that thing. And I'm like, imagine if we, and not saying that some people don't, because I know a lot of people do, but just bear with me. Imagine if we as a majority in terms of musicians would put forth that same effort of excellence and dedication to what it is that we're trying to do. So much so that we cause everyone around us to try to arise to the occasion rather. I just thought about that thing, and it just really stood out to me. I'm like, wow, I mean, could you get up every day knowing that you're having surgery after surgery, fighting something that you know there's a high probability that you're not going to win? How would you handle yourself differently? If your grind, if you've a person that's been going 100% the whole time, and now you're faced with something that you can do absolutely nothing about, what would you do now that you find out that you're closer to the end? Would you go harder, or would you start complaining and start kind of getting on this whole, well, I have this going on and I can't do this? Because I find it so interesting. And speaking of dedication, I find it so interesting. I feel like I have a few groups of people that watch my videos. And I'll use the videos for example. I have several groups of people that watch the videos, but two groups in particular. I have the excuse makers, and I have I'm gonna call them the doers. They just get it done. It is what it is. They get it done. They watch the video. It don't matter what the content is. It don't matter if it was good, if it sucked. It doesn't matter. It's like they find something that they can use from that particular content, and they get it done. I remember for me, the biggest thing in my playing, I feel like that held me back for a long time. When I finally got really serious about this instrument, I was talking to a student the other day, and he wanted to know, he's like, so how long have you really been playing the bass? And I said, well, I played bass, man. I picked up bass at the age of 15. So I've been playing a while. I picked up the bass at the age of 15, but I didn't take the bass seriously until about 2021, somewhere in there. It's one of those things. Appreciate the impulse music. Is one of those things that I could kind of do. I play guitar, and I could kind of hear the bass line, so I could kind of do it. So I never really took it serious. But as I got older and I started hearing more people, and I started being surrounded by better bass players and getting introduced to all these players like Victor Wooten and all these other people, it started kind of raising my ear and raising the bar as it regards the bass, because at that point, up till that point, sorry, I had kind of disregarded the bass. It's like, it's cool. I didn't know. So it was ignorance on my part. I didn't know how in-depth this instrument could be, because you don't know what you don't know. So once I finally got serious about the instrument, I know I spent a good 1.5 to 2 years complaining about what I didn't know and who I wasn't around, and I didn't get to hear this growing up, and I wasn't around this, and I didn't grow up like this, and we only had this type of. I made excuses for the early parts of my professional career as a bassist. I made a lot of excuses. I didn't realize that at the time. I thought I had legitimate excuses. I thought I was within my right to make all the excuses, because I didn't. Me and my brother had to get it on our own. We didn't go to school, and we didn't have any musicians around us. The musicians that were pretty good around wouldn't really help us, and all this kind of stuff. So excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. But when I saw the biggest growth in my playing, the biggest shift in my playing, was when I got rid of my excuses. This might be a light bulb for some people, because it's easy to blame shift. When it comes to dedication, it's easy to blame shift on somebody else and say, well, if I had this, or if I had access to this, like players my age and older, we didn't have YouTube when we was coming up. We had to get it the old school way. We had to put it on a vinyl and keep. It's like we could come up with so much stuff, which it's true. So it's a legitimate excuse, but at the same time, that was then. What are you doing now with the present moment? And that's what I had to look at myself and start saying. Like, no, I didn't come up with all these great musicians around me. I wasn't mentored by Jaco Pastorius or some of these phenomenal bass players. Like my parents were kind of like hobby musicians. They didn't really take it super serious. So I wasn't mentored by musicians who were professionals. And I used that for a long time as a legitimate excuse because I didn't know. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And so, but it's like, how long will you hold on to that excuse of what you don't or what you didn't know? What will you do about it now that you have the opportunity? I was talking about the two groups of people or that I will specify on my videos, the doers and the excuse makers. Now, the excuse makers, sometimes their comments go something like this. Well, it would have been better if you had done XYZ. It would have helped me a little bit more if I had have seen something, or you had explained this a little bit better, or if you had went a little slower, if you had done this, if you had done that. And it's, to me, I get what they're saying, but in a sense, you're easily trying to shift the blame on somebody else for you not figuring out what you have to figure out. Not saying we don't all need help, and not saying that my tutorials or my bass lessons can't be improved. I'm not saying that at all, because there's always room for growth, and I do take consideration. Over the years, I take consideration some of the comments that people have shared with me concerning their learning and what would make it easier for them, and I took heed to it. Like one major comment that I used to get, I would tune half a step down. And this bass is tuned half step down. That's why you've been seeing me with the Squire bass more often on the lessons. But even when I was starting the lessons, I did some of my lessons were on 6-string bass. Just me, I'm not thinking that it was complicated for people, but because it was expressed to me that, okay, it's a little confusing trying to look at those 6 strings. Okay, I get you. I take heed to what you're saying, and I'll try to make the adjustment because I want to make sure the environment is conducive for you to learn the best way that you need to learn. But there's a fine line between that and me just completely bending over backwards and going out of my way to make sure that I satisfy you. But all the time, if I were to get you one-on-one and ask you, how much practice, not how much jamming out, how much practice are you putting in per week? Well, man, I work and I got this, and my dog got sick, and my cat was trying to take care of him, and then my cat caught what the dog had, and then we could come up with so many different excuses. And it's like, but how much time did you practice? Well, I was only able to really get in about an hour and a half this week, but when I watched the video though, if I had no. If you're really serious about this thing, you find time for what you're really serious about. If you're seriously dedicated, if a man can fight death and still find energy to put out his best efforts so that what he's fighting doesn't show up, surely we can find a few hours in the day to practice somewhere. And it depends on how bad you want it. Because think about it. If you've been working a 12-hour shift and you hungry as all get out when you get home, I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. When you get home, if you're hungry, some type of way, you're going to take out some time and eat you something. You're going to find some time. Some of y'all, every now and again, you're like, I just go to bed hungry. But at some point, you're going to get up. If you're seriously hungry, I don't care how tired you are, that hunger is going to kick in. Like, you'll eat sleepy if you have to. You're going to do something to quench that hunger. You're going to do something to take care of that desire or that need for food. You're going to do whatever it takes to eat, to get some food in your stomach, because you deem that as important. Some of you guys are big time sports fans. So no matter what's going on, you're going to find time to watch that game. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care who you got to turn down or who you got to tell. I ain't going to be there today. Or what you got to miss. Some of y'all will miss church. You'll miss your important events, whatever it is, to catch your favorite program on TV or to catch your episode of Netflix or whatever it is. You make time for what you really want. But the problem is most people don't want this bad enough. They don't want to develop, if it's not bass playing, if it's not music, whatever that thing is for you, because I know I have a wide array of people watching these videos, but whatever that thing is for you, you have to make it important. You have to make it the main thing. You have to make it priority in your life if you really, really want it. Some people say, I want to become a professional musician. How much time you practice in a week? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much time am I practicing? Well, man, I work 40, 50 hours a week. Okay. And you still got some more. But I got to do this. Yeah, I know. I understand. And I get it. And I even, I said something to my truck driver friends that I know I got a lot of truck drivers that follow me for some reason. But I was saying, most of you guys know I have a CDL. So this is one of the things I would tell one of my students, yeah, man, just take your bass with you. And, while you're waiting to get unloaded and that kind of thing, I know every trucking situation is different. While you're waiting to get unloaded, you can just, practice and doodle on your bass a little bit while you're waiting to get unloaded. Oh yeah, that might be a good idea. So I got in the truck for a little while recently, and it was for about a week. And I I drove the truck and I took my bass with me and I was gonna try out that theory. It didn't work. Needless to say, it didn't work at all. Because I was tired as all get out. And I didn't get a break when I was getting unloaded. I was trying to take a 5-minute nap, or I had to be alert to pay attention to what's going on. So my point of making that reference, I get it. It's difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. And if you are working a job like that, it's like you are tired. I get it. I'm not taking away from you being tired. But my thing that I'm saying though, I still had to produce content. Y'all had no idea I was in a truck. I still had to find time to stay sharp, to create content, to create lessons, to create something to make sure that I'm getting out. Because I still have students. I still have to find time to do my lessons with my students. I think this was like at the beginning of COVID, like top of COVID hitting. So everything took a dive. So I had to do something real quick. So I'm just being 100. And so I still had to find the time though. I still had to find the time because just because I have this going on and this is very important, my family has to eat, all this type of stuff, I still have to find time because this is a priority to me. This is important to me. Teaching and showing people how to play this instrument is important to me. Advancing myself on this instrument is important to me. Being able to musically keep coming up with ideas is important to me. So if I have to get up a little earlier in the morning and sacrifice some sleep, I got to do what I got to do. Because the goal that I'm trying to accomplish, I'd rather go for the temporary inconvenience for the long-term gratification or satisfaction. Like it's a minor inconvenience to lose a little sleep. Because we've lost sleep over worse things or over less important things. We stayed up watching a movie past a certain time and you're okay with that. Or you got family in town and you're hanging out with the family and it's like they just want to kick it a little while. So you stay up a few more hours because you got a cousin or something in town that you haven't seen in a while. So yeah, I'm gonna stay up a little long. Man, I thought you normally go to bed at 9. Yeah, I'm kicking it with so and so. So you make time for what you deem important. So how dedicated are you? How dedicated, and this is a rhetorical question for everybody that's watching this video. How dedicated are you to really improving on what you say you want to be good at? On what you say you want to somewhat master? Because there are no shortcuts to it. The good thing about YouTube is you do have access, and I've said this so many times. I know it's like a broken record for some of you, but you do have access to so many people. You have access, and the thing about it, if the information that you get on YouTube is not enough, there's other stuff out here. Shoot, I even got lessons. I got one-on-one time that you can spend with me, and some people have taken me up on that, where they get the extra help, and I commend those people for taking that extra step and getting the extra help that they need to better grow. And they find time. I got people that are getting off work at like crazy hours, but they're still picking up their instrument and they're still trying. Even though they're not as far as they want to be in their playing, and they have some of these people have a long way to go, but I'm so inspired and so encouraged when I see them willing to get off work after working a long day, getting off at 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening and coming in. It's like, all right, I'm ready to do this lesson. I know they're tired, but they give me 100% of effort in those lessons. And so I can hear from lesson to lesson that they've been putting in the time and they've been trying with the best of their ability. Because you have to measure your ability not by what Jermaine Morgan plays, but by what you can do. Because your ability might exceed mine, but you don't know it because you've been settling for what you think you can do. And I can say that's definitely true with me. Some of the people that I admired when I was coming up, my ability has exceeded a lot of those people. And I didn't even know it because I was so busy admiring them and putting myself down, keeping myself at this so-called level that I thought I couldn't go past. Like, yeah, man, I'll never be that good. Well, you have what you say. It's just that simple. My son says he's 6. He says, say what you say and get what you get. And it's a true statement. You have what you say. I've said this so many times, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This is not an original quote of mine, but you know what I'm saying? Out of your heart, what you say out of your mouth, you are making that thing. You're recycling that information over and over again. So your brain, your subconscious hears you speak those things like, I'll never be that good, or I don't have time. So everything in your subconscious is making sure you don't have time to do it. It's making sure you don't have the time to do it. I had a student of mine the other day, and we was talking about learning the fretboard. And he and I were talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to try to work on that this week. I said, that's the thing. Don't try to work on it. Just work on it. Because when we try to do something, a lot of times using the word I'll try, and I'm guilty of it, saying I'll try gives you a scapegoat. So just in case I don't come through on what I said I was going to do, well, I said I was going to try, so you know what I'm saying, it didn't work out. Versus, it's kind of like me getting up in the morning. I told you guys my routine, so I won't go through that again. But I come in here every morning, and you know, working out is part of my thing. I can come in here and say, you know, I'm going to try to work out today, or I can just get to it. It's that simple. I make a plan and I just make it happen. It's that simple. Now, if something interrupts me and I don't get finished, that's one thing. That's out of my control. Some of the things are out of my control. But if I come in here with a plan that, look, I'm coming in here and I'm going to work out this morning, it is what it is. I'm going to work out. It's that simple. You make a plan and you do it. It's just execution. Every single day you make a plan. Some days you don't have as much time in the day because of all the things you have to get done. But if you make a habit, if you make it a habit of prioritizing the things that are important, your ratio of what you get done that's priority versus what you waste time on, it will definitely be higher when you start making those things a priority on a regular scale. Because I get it. On your best effort, you're not going to have a perfect week of practice. You're not going to have a perfect week of, or perfect day of like, okay, I set aside to do 2 hours and I got my 2 hours. But the thing about it is, when you don't set anything up because you already know I'm going to be too busy, how long is that going to go on? How long is that going to continue to go on? So did you plan anything as far as practicing today? Nah, I know I got this to do and I got that to do, and you know, so I'll probably get to it Friday. All right, Friday gets here. Did you get to practice today? Nah, man. You know, had to go out and change the tire on my wife's car, and then my dog got sick, and then the cat caught with my dog. It's like we got that excuse again. So now you're continually making excuses instead of just getting it done. The thing I've said this before, but the thing I try to do, granted I'm in my studio right now, but I would keep an instrument out. If you come in my studio, if any of y'all ever show up in my studio, you will see that all of my instruments are out. They are out of the case. Simple stuff, little small stuff. So if you keep your bass or something in your room, or if you have a music room in your house, keep the instruments out. This is a tip. Don't put it in the case. Once you finish playing, don't stick it back in the case. If you have some kids or something that you're worrying about kind of knocking your instruments over, first off, you need to lay the law down and let them know, listen, this stuff costs too much money. Don't you break that. So my kids know what time it is. They know not to mess with my instruments. But I mean, of course, that's over time. They already know what I do, and I've made that clear that they don't mess with my instruments. But even with that, the more likely you are to practice when you see when you see that instrument sitting out, the more likely, I'm not saying it's going to happen, your procrastination is coming, absolutely. But the more likely you are to practice when you see that instrument sitting out, as opposed to it's in the case, I get to it later. It's something about seeing that instrument out, something, especially if it's a nice instrument, that kind of draws you to it when you see it sitting there. Think about it. You go to somebody's house and they are a musician, you're a musician as well. What's the first thing you lock onto when you walk into the house? If they have an instrument sitting down, you lock onto the instrument. That's the first thing your eyes lock onto, because that's something that you're into. That's something that you like. Because it's something that you like and it's something that you're into, that's the first thing your reticular activating system is going to go ahead and lock into that thing. Oh man, that's a dope bass. And the next thing, all right, you ain't paying attention to what they're talking about. If they got a really, really nice instrument, what you want to do? Hey man, you mind if I, yeah, you go ahead. You want to play it, because it's drawing you to it. Sometimes it don't even matter if the bass looks that good. If you haven't played in a while and you see that instrument, you automatically want to pick it up and play it. It's a natural desire to want to play it. But when it's put away, that desire decreases. So you can raise your chances of practicing simply by taking the instrument out and leaving it where you can see it. Have it in your room in the stand. Put it somewhere where you can see it, that is visual. Keep it before you, because out of sight, out of mind. If you want to do more practicing, keep your instrument where you can see it. Make a plan. If you want to definitely try to gain some ground in your playing, make a plan. Make a plan that you're going to actually practice and be dedicated to your plan. I know so many people that I talk to. It's not a lot because I got a small circle, but people from time to time that I talk to. Yeah, man, I'm planning on doing such and such, and I'm planning on doing this, and this is years on top of years on top of years on top of years. So hey, man, how you coming on such and such? Yeah, man, I had such and such happen, but yeah, I'm gonna do it, man. I gotta. It's the people that always say, yeah, man, I gotta do such and such, or we got to get together, or we gotta. You're not gonna do it. So it's like, I'm gonna start being blunt with people. I'm gonna start telling them straight up, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. And some people know, if you're watching this video, you know who you are. I done told you, hey, you ain't gonna do it. I call people out now. So, but you know what I'm saying? So somebody says, true, bro. Sweet advice. I'm going to take my bases out right now. It's Winston. It's that simple. Take the instrument out, because if you see it, you're more likely to pick it up. You're more likely to want to practice. But again, when I say make a plan to practice, make a plan. If you are able, put it like this, if you're a person that you've been practicing one time a week because you don't have the time, make a plan that I'm going to put in at least 3 days this week. If you've only been practicing one time a week, and maybe you're getting in 2 hours when you get that one time, that's probably pushing it for some of y'all. Make a plan this week. You know what? I'm gonna get 6 hours in this week. 2 hours a day. That's 3 days. I'm gonna get in 6 hours. I don't care how you break that time up. 2 hours here, or an hour here, or 30 minutes here, 15 minutes here, wherever you can find a minute. Put your phone down. Put your phone down for a second. I'm talking to me too. Because my wife, if she was listening, she'd be like, yeah, you put your phone down. So put your phone down for a second. But I think I got a good balance, because I still get my stuff done. When I take a break, that's my break time. I get on my phone. But I still get a lot of stuff done. So I got an excuse somewhat. No excuse. So put your phone down. Make it a priority. This week, starting this week, it's Tuesday. It's early in the week. You still can get 3 days out. If you're a person that's only been getting in 3 days, push it up to 5. You know what I'm saying? Try to raise the bar. If you're really trying to gain some ground, you have to do the necessary work. All right, so now that we've covered all of that, I'm talking about dedication, and you actually got to the point of practicing, are you learning songs? Are you transcribing material, especially if you're new to this instrument? Are you working on something? Like, setting aside time to practice, and then when you get on your instrument, you just goof off for 2 hours, is not necessarily practicing. You're playing the instrument, because I want to make sure I provide clarity for some of you guys, because Some of y'all say, man, I put in 5 hours a day. Yeah, but what are you working on? Well, man, I just put on some music and just go at it. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But what are you working on? What do you mean? Are you improving anything? Are you like paying attention to anything that you're doing? Are you just playing for 5 hours? Because at that point you're rehearsing. You're rehearsing what you already know. Rehearsing. You're going over what you already know. But if you're practicing, it's gonna probably sound a mess. It's going when you're really practicing, it's gonna probably sound a mess because you're working through things, you're working through problems, you're finding areas of your playing that needs improving. You're finding I heard this thing talking about Kobe Bryant, and some of y'all real basketball fans know this. There are stories of where this guy would go in a gym and sit in one spot and shoot the same shot for 3 hours. Now you would think, this is Kobe, man. This dude be all over the court dunking and working on, different spin moves. He sat in the same spot and shot one shot for 3 hours, you know? And I'm saying for me, that sounds unreal. 3 hours on one shot. But look at how many players that are in the league and who are we still talking about? The few players that we're talking about. And so when you look at the fact that you're still talking about this person, that might not be too far-fetched because we're not talking about everybody. So everybody's not going in the gym. Everybody's not going in the practice room and doing the same thing 2 and 3 hours. The same rep. Because when it comes to this moment, I kind of like Jordan shooting free throws. I need to be able to do this with my eyes closed. I need to be able to get on this instrument. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. I need to be on this instrument. I need to know the instrument comfortably enough so I don't have to look at it. Not every single time. I need to just kind of know it. It needs to be under my hands. Whatever I'm trying to say, whatever I'm trying to play, it needs to be so under my hands that I don't have to be watching the fretboard the entire time I'm playing. And that comes from reps and reps and reps and reps of doing it over and over and over and over. It sounds like a broken record, but dedication is the only way you get there. It's no other way to it. You have to be dedicated to it, and you have to put in the reps. Have to do it over and over. And so back to what I was saying earlier, stop making excuses. Stop blaming other people. It's not their fault. Yeah, maybe they couldn't improve their stuff. Maybe I could improve my lessons. But whether I improve my lessons or not has nothing to do with whether you're going to continue to grow. That has everything to do with you and your work ethic. Simple as that. I think I've talked enough on that particular topic. So, yeah, let me read a few of these comments, and I'm going to jump off because I got to run, guys. All right. So, let's see here. Andre says, LOL, you're preaching to me, and I'm a truck driver, so I know. I know how it is, so no excuses. See, I'm talking about I got my truck drivers in here this morning. All right, so, I keep my bass in a case, but it's special in my life, so I know it's there, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, absolutely. Hold on here. I've tried to dedicate myself to bettering myself on the bass, but my practice has no direction. Don't know if what I'm practicing is going to lead to improvement or where it's going to start. All right, so rehearsing versus practicing epic conversation. Thank you. Practice like it. Your next gig depends on exactly. Thanks for the info on SIT strings. Love them. Thank you, man. So not knowing the direction, I wanted to address that. Who was that said that you've been trying to practice, but Vincent. Okay, I got you. So here's what I kind of tell my students, and if any of my students are on here this morning, they will tell you: learn songs. Learn songs. Here's the thing about any instrument, whether it's your voice or whether it's bass, drums, whatever. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. A lot of the things that you're looking for, that you're looking through videos trying to figure out, if you spend time trying to learn songs verbatim, if you spend time, hear what I'm saying, If you spend time, it's meticulous. Play, stop, rewind, go back, play it again, stop, rewind, go back. And I ain't talking about play the whole song. I'm talking about play the first 10 seconds of that song. I don't care if it's a simple song. Stop, rewind, go back, listen to it again. Make sure you hear everything that they're doing. When you do that and get in a habit of doing that, first of all, it's going to be tedious when you first start. But the more you do that, the more reps you put in, the quicker you'll be able to move through songs. Because you have this process, you're getting your brain used to grabbing the information. So now you'll find yourself where you're listening to stuff, okay, bam, that's what they did. Okay, cool, got that. Next section, bam, that's what they did. All right, sweet, got it. Some of y'all might have to chart some stuff off. If you write stuff down like me, I had to chart. I had to learn it the hard way that I needed to chart stuff down to initially get it into my system. Once I charted it down, I played a couple of times, I was sweet. But I guess my immediate thing of remember, depending on what the song is, sometimes it's harder for me to remember and retain. After a while, I get it. But it's all about how you learn, and you have to learn how you learn. It just y'all know I'm good. I love telling stories. Quick story about me being in college. First off, I hated school. Let's get that out of the way. I completely hated school. So the fact that I have a bachelor's degree in anything is even shocking to me. Because I hated it. I absolutely hated school. My mom, that was the joke. She's like, I know you hate school. So I couldn't wait for the summertime. I couldn't wait to get out. And when everybody else was excited about going to school, I was depressed because my summer was ending. I enjoyed summer and I enjoyed recess. Anything to get me away from school. So, all right, but my biggest thing, I struggled most of my life during school. And I didn't start doing good to my senior year of college, the last few months, because I finally figured out how I learned. Imagine that. You go all the way through grade school, all the way through, I did a super year at a junior college, and so I basically did 3 years there. And then I transferred and I finished out at the University of North Alabama. But I didn't figure out how I learned until my last year there. My last year. So imagine going all those years, all that school, and I didn't know how I learned until the last year. And once I figured out how I learned, oh, now the light bulb is on. Thanks. This would have came in handy about 9 semesters ago. You know what I'm saying? So figure out how you learn, because if you don't, you will waste a lot of time. How I learned might not be the best way for you. But one thing that has been proven, when you learn to listen to music, ear training, when you're playing, I don't care if you read music or you play by ear, at some point you're going to have to listen. You got to listen to the music. We are not robotic, or we're not robots. So you have to be able to listen to the music and start getting to the point where you internalize what you're hearing, and that repetition and getting used to hearing certain things. And you start paying attention to, oh, I didn't even hear that the guitar player was doing this. Oh, I didn't notice that the keyboard player. So all of that chord substitution stuff, when you start learning songs verbatim, everything falls into place. Because not only are you learning technique, what that person is doing to get that sound, because you're trying on your own to mimic it. Remember, with most of these things, you don't have the video there to watch what this player played in the studio. Sometimes with YouTube, you have a video, but majority of the time when you're learning records, you're just listening to what they're playing and you're trying to mimic it yourself. All right, so through trial and error, you develop your own way of coming up with that sound. It might not be what they did, but you develop a way that it works for you. So now you're developing your own thing. You're developing your own way of doing what it is, and you can correct some stuff along the way, but we're not worried about that right now. What we're worried about is you being able to learn songs, you being able to grow, you figuring out how to do your little ghost notes, all that kind of stuff. It's all starting to come together. And not only that, you're hearing context. So I could get on here and teach you a lick, but if you learn a lick in the context of a song, that's why when I do teach licks, I try to teach them in the context of a groove, not just a random lick that didn't go with anything. I try to teach it in the context of a groove, and I say, hey, you can use it here, you can use it here, just a few places you can use it. It's like my little trademark thing that I say all the time. But when you hear it and learn it in the context of the song, you automatically know where it goes. Because it's like, oh, that's where he played that. Oh, that's how he used that. So you automatically got the lick. You know the context. You know how it falls. You know the feel of it. You know the timing of it. All that stuff you're trying to figure out. It's right there in the songs. It's already in the music. So when you spend time learning those songs, working on that music, you're learning everything you need to know right there in context, right on the spot. So the hardest part is getting yourself used to doing that. It's getting yourself used to doing that. So once you can kind of work those reps, you get used to it. If you've been a person that's needed to have a trainer in the gym or whatever to help you work on certain things, initially that trainer is there to help you get started. But once you kind of get into your groove, you don't need a trainer. Not unless you training for something serious, but just to maintain, I'm good. Like me, I'll watch certain YouTube videos or watch somebody do a certain exercise. Oh, that's what they did. I needed them initially to show me what it was, but after doing it a few times, okay, yeah, I'm good. I don't need you to show me that. I'm good. Thank you. So if you need to get a little training, if you need to get a little extra help, do it. Do what you need to do to improve yourself. But ultimately, the most growth that you're going to see is going to happen through your own personal dedication to what it is you're trying to do, and that's how you grow. All right? Read a few more of these comments. I said that while just a minute ago. All right. Brazil, what's going on? All right. So I watched a video you did a while back about managing your time. We make time for what we choose. Absolutely. Jocko said to learn the melody line to every song you work out the bass line on. Yep. Absolutely, I agree. Learn that melody as well. Learn everything you can learn. At least if you don't learn it, at least know what it sounds like. Be familiar with. You can never talk enough on that topic, brother. We always need reminding how important practicing is. Absolutely, Winston. Vic said, I've heard it said that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to achieve that level of excellence that we are discussing. Yep. I was going to say that earlier. Thanks so much, Jermaine. Appreciate you, bro. My pleasure. Tiffany said, I agree. Working on my ears has been one of the most rewarding parts of my journey so far. I can't say enough about it. That ear, I mean, when it comes to music, you can do whatever you want to do. Reading, doing numbers, tab, all that stuff. I ain't saying anything is against that. But you can't get around these ears. I'm sorry, you can't get around them. You can do whatever you want to do, and being able to sight read is wonderful. I wish I had that ability to sight read that well. I don't have it. I can read, but my sight reading sucks, and that's on me. I haven't made sight reading a priority. But let me rephrase that. I have seasons where I make sight reading a priority. I go through my season. I'm hitting sight reading. I'm gonna get sweet with it, and I do it for about a month, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to what I know. So it's like, I'm okay, but I kind of suck at the same time when it comes to sight reading. But for you that do sight read and you read and all that stuff, that's great. But make sure you're also training those ears. Make sure those ears are on point, that you're listening and you're actually being in the moment. Because if you're too buried into what's going on, sometimes you can lose the moment because your face is buried in that chart, even if you chart out songs with numbers and stuff like that. One of the things that I try to make a habit of, even though I chart out everything, I try to make sure I give that song everything that it needs as far as feel. That the song doesn't feel robotic and mechanical. Well, I played all the wrong notes. Yeah, but it was just kind of cookie cutter. We don't want that. We want music as a feeling. We want to be able to feel what it is you're trying to express through this instrument. So that's going to come with you bringing all of your human self into this piece of wood in order for us to really feel what it is you're doing. Bring that emotion, bring that passion, bring all of that stuff into this instrument. It's hard to bring that through a sheet of paper. It's written, but it's hard to express it. You have to be the one that expresses that. All right, that's enough talking for today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to play y'all out. and I'm gonna head out. All right. So again, thank you guys. Let's get back into this groove real fast, and I'm out. All right, I'm out, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.